Happy Sunday. Welcome back to another nightly watch list video where I go over my ready list for tomorrow's session. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. There are some nice earnings this week. You got HPE, CRDO, then you got Palo Alto is also reporting this week. You got AVGO reporting this week, which made a super nice move on Friday, which was on last week's watch list video. Nice flat base breakout. CrowdStrike also reports. CIEN also reports, which had a nice candle on Friday. And although, these optic names kind of been getting hit pretty hard, this name's been holding up really well. PL also reports. Super interesting, right? Every time this name reports, it usually gaps up and then tries to offer some sort of setup. So will it gap up or will it be the end? And then another one, another important one in my books is Rubrik, only because it's part of that technology cybersecurity group where it made a massive move back above its 200 days. So I'm keeping an eye on a lot of these names, which I will go over at the end. But without further ado, getting right into it. BE, a name I own, and a super nice candle on Friday, right? Wasn't looking the best on Thursday. I got stopped out on my ads from Wednesday off the 20 day, which was fine, but I still want to try to get back in this name as far as adding to it. So I don't mind this candle, right? You get your outside bar, a nice hammer, get some decent volume coming in, whatever. Either way, I like the action. So I think a push through a Friday's high would be super interesting. You're building a nice range ever since the earnings gap up. I think this is a huge leader, right? Obviously, you get an inside week. You look at a monthly chart, not too bad. I did scan like every stock as far as its monthly chart, so I'm definitely keeping an eye on a lot of names. But I still like the way that BE's acting and the range that it's building, so I don't want to give up on this name too much. It looks so good. I think this name looks awesome. I'm glad I own this name, and it's one of my biggest positions. But can it hold up here? I think a good line in the sand would definitely be Friday's lows, because this is a nice reversal candle. So a push above the 20-day slash today's high would be the spot I would like to try some ads. So super nice name. Circle, I debated putting this one on the list. Acted super well on Thursday off the undercut and rally of the support gap, slash kind of like an undercut and rally of the 200-day. And then a nice follow through on Friday with some nice volume. You flip to a weekly chart. Looks great. Nice reversal candle on the weekly chart. Monthly chart, not too much. I won't go over too many monthly charts, sorry, but Circle, you got your stable coin kind of theme. I guess you can consider coin maybe in there. You definitely could, but nice stage one base here. Another one where it gave an undercut and rally. I'm not really paying attention too much to something that's undercut and rallying that's been acting this poor. And obviously like some sort of a Bitcoin considered name. You get 4 tight days for Bitcoin. Is it a bear flag to break down? Which to me, that's what it's looking like right now. So for Circle, I don't know. I wouldn't really come on here and say that it matters too much for Bitcoin. I mean, you can see the big pullback Circle's had and Bitcoin as well. And I mean, obviously, it's a Bitcoin related name or crypto related name. So definitely something to just keep an eye on. But another stable coin name would be Hood, which made a big, massive move. So super interesting, right? I like the weekly chart. I like the way this name's been acting. I would like to own this name. I missed the undercut and rally, and then I owned it on Friday, and I got a little antsy and got rid of it through the prior day's high. I got a little antsy and got rid of it on Friday there, but big mistake because now I really want to own this name. But I think a few days of sideways action here would be great, right? You just build a nice higher low relative to like the prior lows we've made. So like a few days tight here would be super interesting, but a name I'll continue to keep an eye on. CoreWeave, don't think this name looks horrible, but relative to the rest of the stocks in this group, it is a laggard. So definitely want to be careful with this name as far as the theme goes. This is a AI data center name. So, you're looking at your Neo Cloud stuff like your WGMI group, which has been acting phenomenal. Looks so good. All the stocks in this group look great. Does that mean they're viable? Not necessarily just yet, but a few of them do, and there's potential. So I think CoreWeave doesn't look too bad, right? Monthly chart, not too much. You look at a weekly, you just built a higher low with this week's prior week's candle. Can we push through this little high that we've built, right? If you flip to like an hourly chart, you can see you've been basing this 110 area for weeks now, I guess you could say. But I think this name looks super good. Definitely want to continue to keep an eye on it. So a push through pretty much Friday's high slash this last Friday's high, which has been a big line in the sand here. I'd be super interested in trying this. We'll see. It's been building higher lows here ever since it kind of held the 200 day. So can this be that third higher low? You get your first one, second one. Can this be the third one? would be super interesting to see how it acts. But I mean, like I said, uh, the rest, there's some other names that look great. NBIS, huge leader of that NeoCloud space. This one still looks fine, right? This one still looks like it could be viable. It is over 5 ATRs from the 50 days, so it's like, okay, you get a breakout. Now it's like 7 or 8 from the 50 day. Like, how much more do you want it to go from there, right? It can still go higher, but it's like, I would like to get these names at a better opportunity, like on the pullbacks. If you were a buyer of these, good job. I initially bought it here, just as an undercut and rally on like a weekly chart right through the pivot, like in the first 5 minutes of the day on this day, and it acted so well. Pretty big gain from there. But with a 5% position, I've been just so eager to get back into this name or add to this name. So just want to continue keeping an eye on this thing. I think it looks great. You look at a weekly chart, you get a double inside week. Looks explosive. Like, this thing to me is probably going to go higher. So we will have to see. Galaxy is another name inside that group. 99% sure this is a data center name. I'm pretty sure this is a part of that WGMI. But you get an inside week. Or sorry, you get an inside day on Friday. A nice higher low setup potential, right? You held the 200. Nice bounce. Starts to get tight for like 4 or 5 days. Looks good. You flip to a weekly chart. Not too bad. So we'll have to see how this name can act. But I would just watch this one over the priority high. This is going to be part of your CoreWeave NBIS group. I think that's everything as far as that group. But I mean, the rest of the group looks great. You got Hut falling into the 20-day, get spot up. Super, super nice move. Another name I'm going to pay attention to on a pullback. Maybe it squats back in the base. Maybe it comes back to the top of the base. Who knows? Something I really want to keep an eye on. And just every name in this group. You got Cypher. Looks so, Cypher looks great. Can't say too much about this name because I don't know. I just I missed a stock on a pullback over here. I initially bought it here, was stopped out, and I didn't buy it back. In this pullback slash the continuation after the pullback. So I kind of have like a little mental block here, but I just want a better setup. I want more tighter action. It's super loose in here, so it's not my favorite. But we'll see. It is starting to get a little bit tight, I guess you say. But just continue to build out here. It made a new all-time high. Which I think this is, it made a new all-time high last week, and then kind of just 2 days squatting right below it. So we'll see how this name can act. But this whole group, I think, looks great. And if you're going to the WGMI, right, and looking at all the holdings, these are going to be all your top holdings here. Cypher, Iron, Wolf, CORZ, KEEL, Hut. Hive is another one I own. Riot, CLSK, APLD is a big one, right? Your NeoClouds. This one looks great too. On a pullback, I'd like to buy this name, right? This is another name that I've talked about for weeks, right? The initial big gap up day with volume above the 50 was super interesting to me. And then from there, you get your sideways, whatever. But I would say this group looks great. So Galaxy, I just want to continue to keep it on. I think it looks awesome. Don't want to talk too much or I'll ramble on. DOCN, right? This is going to be your tech leader, in my opinion, as far as software. I think this name looks so good. You get 3 weeks tight. You get an inside week. You get a double inside bar from Thursday and Friday inside of like that Wednesday range. So I'm looking for a push above Wednesday / Friday's high. But nice flat base building here. Falls into the 20-day, finds support. I've owned this name like 5 times in the last like 3 days, and it just hasn't been able to stick. So I feel dumb for not holding my position from Friday, but it is what it is. I think it looks great, and I wouldn't be surprised to see his name gap and go without me. But looks awesome. Continue to keep an eye on this one. HIMX. Super nice as far as a high tight flag power play sort of setup. I think this looks great. You're trying to build higher lows right into the pivot. Could this be that higher low off the 10-day? Super interesting. This is obviously your semiconductor names, which, yes, this thing is over 7 ATRs from its 50-day. I've seen lots of high tight flags be extended like this, and this is how they work best, right? That's why they're power play setups. They'll go up a big percentage in a short period of time and become extended and then blow off from there. So be careful with names like this, but looks like a high tight flag to me. From all the model stocks I've studied as far as a high tight flag, this looks pretty perfect alongside MXL, which is actually a great company earnings and sales wise. So this is another one that's really one of my favorites, right? You get an undercut and rally of the 20-day, looks good. That undercut and rally did stop me out. I bought it on a Wednesday. I thought this name was really just going to push out, but who knows? Is it going to just lose the 20-day again, fall back down? I'll try to buy this name into some support, right? Whether an undercut and rally of that prior low, or I think this is like a prior all-time high. Yeah. So definitely an area I'd watch if we get some weakness in the morning over here. But, wouldn't be surprised to see this name either gap up, put an inside day, maybe get a few days tight here, or just push out above Friday's high. Would be super interesting. And then ultimately needs to get back above that pivot for me to consider this a real high tight flag breakout. NBIS, you know, like I've talked about, this name looks great. I skipped Intel. Okay, Intel, another name where it's like, okay, if we can get some washout, this is something I'm super interested in, right? You got a big gap here, support gap. It did kind of lose the 20-day here, not in a big way, so we'll see. But this was a big down day on Friday, so definitely interested in this name on any sort of pullbacks. Obviously, market leader. And you know, I don't think we're done yet. We're just realistically building a high tight flag, right? We're like 20% pullback so far inside this little range we built after a 200% move up. Another high tight flag potential. So can we get invested in this name on a pullback, right? A washout to support gap or a washout to the lows, or is it going to put an inside day in tomorrow, like sort of undercut and rally of the 20, get a little bit tight here and then want to go? Who knows, right? This area right here has kind of been pretty important. So will we just continue to go sideways? Super interesting. MP, these rare earth names starting to become more interesting, specifically the ones that, yes, the whole group got beaten up, but the ones that made a V bottom and bounced the most are the most interesting to me. So a UAMY, not super interesting, right? It's barely bounced compared to like a USAR, which USAR looks great. 4 days tight pretty much from the initial big up day from Tuesday, but big bounce back. Super tight inside day on Friday. Definitely something I'm going to pay attention to. MP, same thing where you know, 3 inside days from that big Tuesday bar, and you get like sort of an outside bar. Can we make this a higher low pushing through Friday's high? Definitely something I'm paying attention to and really want to continue to keep an eye on. I think this group has lots of potential if it can get going, right? CRML is another one, but not really that much of a bounce back, but it is getting tight. Interesting to say the least. And you get an inside month on something like CRML, so it's pretty, you know, it's getting pretty coiled or whatever you want to say. I just think it looks good. NVT, this is going to be part of your BE Bloom Energy type of group, as long as or as well as a VRT, right? And I'll specifically talk about VRT. I like this one the most, right? You get a pull to the 50. Yes, the market's been ripping, breaking out of its sideways, and this name's been getting hammered. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the setup fail if the market wants to cool off, or this name shows relative strength and does what it does best, and it comes into the 50 and it bounces. Comes into the 50 and it bounces. So nice inside day on Friday. Can we push above Friday's high? That's what I'll be watching to try to take a position in. I think this name still looks fine, right? You flip to a weekly chart, looks fine. Monthly, nice outside bar. So we'll see if this is it for this name, or, you know, maybe it gets a nice breakout and then fails and the setup doesn't work. Who knows? That will let me know that maybe we're getting into a time where a lot of stuff just needs to consolidate and pull back, which I do think there are a lot of names that look that way. So we will have to see. I'm not too antsy to jump into next week wanting to take a bunch of positions. There's some interesting earnings. There's a lot of stocks that I do think still need sideways, but there's lots of stocks that have a high tight flag potential. So are we going to see this final blow off move in a lot of stuff? And are we going to get a few more weeks of just stuff working extremely well, or is stuff going to cool off, base, flag out, do what it does best? We'll have to see. Dell, for example, looks to me like a blow off move. Will pay attention to this name. I don't want to jump short on a name like this, but I mean, massive move up, right? Looks to me like it's very obviously parabolic. This could be a parabolic short, so it's definitely something I want to keep an eye on. A lot of people will call me stupid for maybe even looking at a name like this like that, but I'm watching that opening price, see if we fail through that, what will happen. Definitely super interested. Or do we get a big gap up in the after hour session above the highs, and do we fail there? Who knows? Name it, keep an eye on. Or is this going to be a high volume close setup where we just continue higher? Either way, almost, you know, your 18 ATRs from the 50-day, extremely extended, last like, you know, 4 or 5 days straight up. So vertical, parabolic, you'll see this towards the end of a run, especially on a true market leader. That doesn't mean the move's completely over, but a big down day and some cool off, maybe it's possible. So definitely something I want to continue to keep an eye on. NVT I talked about, but I didn't quite go higher low setup, 2 days tight. You know, you kind of undercut and rally the 20-day, whatever you want to call it. But either way, you know, this is another one where it was super nice to buy this one at the earnings low as an undercut and rally, or just you're watching for the 20-day or any sort of pullback on that Tuesday was great. Which that's how I bought Amazon, which has been one of the best acting names. I guess you could say that a name I haven't even sold a single share of. I think this name looks great. It's still trying to build some sort of a base, so we'll have to see. But NVT getting super tight, part of that BEVRT sort of group, so it's something I want to pay attention to. ONDS, this name offered such a great, and I mean, I guess you could say the whole group offered such a great opportunity on Friday as undercut and rallies of just super important levels. And I'll quickly go over this. And UMAC is a name I bought on Friday, one of the only names that I bought that on Friday. That worked so well. I took a trim on it on day one, up about like 25% by the close. So, I mean, you get a 10 ATR extension like that, I'm trimming 50% on day one, which I did trim 50%. But it's another name where it's like super extended in the short term. Can it build out here after the one of the only names in this drone group that actually just made a new all-time high? So I'm extremely bullish on this name. I own it still with a 5% position now. But we will have to see. I will go over. So actually, let me just go back to the daily chart real quick, right? You make your big gap, right? You mark the gap, which is going to be the open, or you could even take the low, whatever you want to do. I take the open and close because that's what I've seen works best. But you get the massive flush, right? This thing was down, 15, 16%. And I'm like, holy shit, right into a big level. Watch for the undercut and rally, whatever. I buy it here right off this candle close, stop at low a day. I'm risking at that point 3.8% on a name that moves 9% per day. That's a third of its average true range. I think that's extremely good. So yeah, and it offered a super nice setup for me, and it was a great undercut rally. But you saw that in this whole group, right? ONDS, same thing. You flip to a weekly chart, extremely important pivot. Base we broke out of, right? Super tight for a few months, and then we broke out of that on the big gap up. We fell right into it. And I mean, look at this undercut and rally set. Absolutely beautiful. Super tight risk, right? You're risking not even 1% on a stock that moves almost 9% per day. I don't think it's any better than that. So that was huge. RCAT was also another one where, you know, uh, like I just talked about, that opening price from the gap up day, right? You come right into the opening price, you get a bounce. Just such tight risk down here, whether you're taking it above VWAP, which I don't have VWAP on my chart, right? Even if you're taking it above VWAP, 5% risk on it, that's about half an ATR either way. But, you're initially seeing the price bounce off of that level. That's probably where I would want to get invest in a name like this. But, it's another name that you put an inside day on Friday. This is why it's on my list. You got a super big base, super speculative, and super fast moving name, right? Very high beta. So want to be careful with names like this towards the tail end of a correct or tail end of a bull market. Not saying that we're at the tail end yet, but we'll have to see. But either way, I think this name looks great. I don't own this one, but like I said, I own UMAC. But I did like the inside day that this name put in. It's getting super tight since the big gap up. So we will have to see where it goes from there. But ONDS, like I said, looks great. And then AVEX is also another one where, recent IPO, you build out for a month or two or a few weeks, and you break out of that little base, which could have been a great high or low setup somewhere in here. Either way, a nice breakout and just a massive 30% move, and then a nice inside day there. So you also got AMPX, which hasn't been my favorite out of them, just not as clean. This name was a really nice high volume close setup in March. But either way, nice inside day. These names are just ones to keep an eye on for continued sideways. ONDS inside day looks great. Just broke out of a base. Continue to keep an eye on this. Alongside RCAT, right? Inside day, still inside of its base. We will have to see. QBTS, the quantum names have been awesome. I own INFQ, which I'm pretty sure reports tomorrow. I did cut my ads from, Thursday. So it is what it is. But, going into earnings, I'm not going to hold a gigantic position in this name to just get, gains ripped away from me. Don't need that. But QBTS looks so good. I mean, practically a shaved top from Friday. Like, this name is just absolutely ripping into the close. You get an inside week. You look at a monthly chart. Nice push in volume. Nice push in price. Looks awesome. These names look so good. You get back above the 200-day. You get the 2D LV setup, and they're gone from there. And that's how I bought this name on Thursday. Actually, I bought it above VWAP as a 2-day LV setup, so looks great. Could have even been bought the day before. But QUBT, another one getting super tight. You build a higher low, nice move up, right under the 200-day. Can we push through? I don't know if I'd necessarily buy this name. I already got enough exposure in this quantum sector. Don't want to get too overexposed and then get hit with like an offering or something and deal with that. But Rigetti is another one I own. Nice inside day. These names continue to look awesome. You get another inside week. I think these are some of the best looking charts wise, not companies, but charts. So we'll have to see. But Rigetti looks good. The quantum names look pretty nice. QUBT, obviously IONQ is the leader, but it's another one I look at where it's like, how do I buy this one now? This one was definitely buyable multiple times as a higher low setup, whether it was just below the 200 or at the 200. But you look at a weekly chart, super massive move up. Some sideways would be nice. You look at the monthly, looks phenomenal. A nice base here, a nice flag would be interesting. Continue to keep an eye on these names. Maybe while the other names work, who knows? But QUBT looks fine. RCAT, like I talked about, Rigetti I own. Still another one that you could try to buy this one. And maybe I'll try to add to this one over a Friday's high. Who knows? I like the weekly chart, so they look great. SCCO, this is going to be your copper related stuff, which copper looks awesome. You know, you get a nice stall bar, and looks like we're going to push through that now in the after hours. The weekly looks fine, and the monthly looks good. So nice base being built, right? Right under that pivot. We came up and rejected, kind of squatted back in, and we're just slowly grinding up the 20 day. So I think this looks awesome. And SCCO put an inside day on Friday. This name has looked so good for like a week or two now. So super nice to see. Can it break out of its little flat base it's building? Super interested, right? You got FCX is also in that group, and I don't mistake me, but I think HBM is also in that group. But you know, this one's already broken out. Nice higher low setup. You get 2 days tight after the nice gap up, and then a nice follow through. That's exactly what I look for in some sort of like a higher low setup. If you're looking like at an hourly chart, right, you got a nice higher low there. SCCO, think this one can just be getting started. So definitely one to keep an eye on. SIDU, this group has been so good. I mean, as far as these space related names, you know, you got Rocket Lab, right, the leader, Fly, ASTS, Lunar, PL, RDW, SATL, YSS, ATRO, SIDU, massive base, right, and it's just gonna be super crappy to me. But you know, weekly chart, super nice base. You break out of it after not really any setup, right? I don't know if I'm gonna buy this name down here. Super tiny market cap, so I don't know why I put this name on the list, but get a pullback, higher low setup potential. You know, nice pullback, super low volume or declining volume. Either way, it's a name to keep an eye. USAR I talked about, and VRT I talked about. That's probably going to be it for me. I think the Neo Clouds, Quantums, cybersecurity names, the semis, space names, solar software has been so explosive, right? You look at like a Frog. This name has been extremely explosive. Oracle made a massive move. I own the IGV, which I'm super happy about. And this move, you know, I was buying IGV as a pullback and talking about this every day in my watch list videos, but I don't care about being right or wrong in my watch list videos. It's not why I make these, but just to let you know that this is a name I own, and I'm super happy and proud that I was able to find myself in this name. Zeta is another software name. Monster. Twilio, if I can spell. Twilio. Okay, Twilio, another name that I tried to buy as a high volume close undercut in a rally, but it was a little choppy there, so who knows? It's getting super tight. Can it break out of this little mini kind of crappy range it's building? Who knows? I don't think it looks bad. So RBRK I talked about, another software related. APPS, one of the smaller cap names, looks explosive. Snow, you know, a bigger cap name. Big move above the 200, nice follow through. DDOG looks phenomenal. Dave, look, like these names are extended, so I'm not buying these, but like note the group strength. The software group is explosive. Can we get steps? NAVN, another one, just super nice. And then you got the names below the 200, like T made a big move. Microsoft made a big move. ServiceNow made a big move. You know, CRM made a nice move. And then Palantir, the shitter, made a big move in the last 2 days, so definitely one to keep an eye on. I think I have a few names that I would watch for short, and that's Dell, Palantir into the 200 day, AXTI with its engulfing candle on the weekly chart, and just a massive extension this thing's been through. But like I said, like the engulfing on the weekly chart, any bounce in this name, I would like to try to get short. So we'll have to see, like maybe a bounce up into the pivot and a failure or whatever. But I do think this name's sitting at support now. I wouldn't try to short it down here in the hole, but a bounce higher would definitely be something to watch for a short into the 20 day, whatever that may be. Okta, high volume close watch. Don't think I'd buy this, but a pullback I'd try to buy. Watch for some sideways. AAON, another one where it's building a nice flag after the post earnings gap or the power earnings gap. So horrible group. So not a name I'm too fan of. I'm going to end the video here. I appreciate you guys all for watching. This has been way longer than it should have. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I hope you all have a great week. Peace.